Egyptian mythology is one of the oldest mythologies in human history and reflects many aspects of the Egyptian empire, which ruled for thousands of years. This mythology is full of gods and goddesses, each with their unique characteristics and stories that inspire people. With its thousands of years of history, Egyptian culture is an important treasure for humanity. Ancient stories were told to seek answers to philosophical questions about the nature of the universe and human existence. Today, I will tell you the story of two important gods in Egyptian mythology, Horus and Seth. Horus is known as the god of nature and the sun, while Seth is known as the god of chaos and dark forces. The battle between the two gods symbolizes the struggle between good and evil. This story tells of an event that took place during a time when order and justice were disrupted. It teaches people to make choices between right and wrong, justice and injustice, and to struggle to choose what is right. The death of Osiris brings philosophical questions about the cycle of life and the end of death to the forefront of Egyptian mythology. Osiris is the god of order and fertility, while Seth is known as the god of chaos and darkness who desires to take Osiris' place. However, due to Seth's scheming, Osiris is killed and his body is thrown into the Nile River. Osiris' death presents an opportunity for Horus to seek revenge. Horus is a warrior raised to fight against his father's death, while Seth is an enemy who seeks to seize Egypt's throne. The struggle between Horus and Seth is a philosophical message that encourages people to fight for justice and honesty. At the beginning of the war, Seth gouges out Horus' eyes, but he manages to defeat Seth. Later, Horus regains his sight and fights Seth again. In the second battle, Horus defeats Seth and captures him. However, Horus spares Seth's life and forgives him. This story emphasizes important concepts such as justice, honesty, and fair struggle for humanity. While Seth fights for power and control, Horus fights for justice and honesty. Furthermore, this story plays an important role in Egyptian mythology. Horus is the heir to the Egyptian throne as the son of Osiris. In this story that begins with Osiris' death, Horus fights to replace his father and rule Egypt. Seth fights to replace Osiris and seize Egypt. The struggle between Horus and Seth highlights the need for the leader of Egypt to be honest and just. This story also alludes to the importance of justice, honesty, and proper leadership in the governance of Egypt. The story of Horus and Seth is also connected to the stories of other gods and goddesses in Egyptian mythology. Horus' father, Osiris, is the god of fertility, order, and death. Horus' mother, Isis, is the goddess of fertility, childbirth, love, and magic. Seth's wife, Nephthys, is the goddess of fertility, death, and rebirth. This story demonstrates the roles and importance of different gods and goddesses within Egyptian mythology. The story of Horus and Seth also reflects human psychology and human nature. Symbolically, the story represents the internal struggle between good and evil within the human mind. When faced with difficulties in life, people experience the battle between their inner Horus and Seth. The struggle between good and evil is a part of human nature, and this story teaches people to fight for what is right. Egyptian mythology is full of characters like Horus and Seth. Horus is a god who symbolizes goodness and justice, while Seth represents evil and chaos. The story of Horus and Seth reflects the political and social narratives of Egypt's past, as well as human nature, inner struggles, and choices between right and wrong. This story reflects the struggle between good and evil among people and the difficult battles they must fight to choose what is right. People should use the story of Horus and Seth to test themselves and embrace concepts such as honesty, justice, and leadership. Egyptian mythology is one of the oldest mythologies in history and still has an impact on the world today. The story of Horus and Seth is an important part of this mythology. It helps people understand and learn from their internal struggles and choices between right and wrong. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video. As always, remember that our learning journey is never-ending, and we'll continue to explore new knowledge together. Until next time.